Alright, Ulm turn 64. Still doing, a bunch of summoning. Still getting gargoyles, actually. I think we're really close, maybe out of Earth Gems, but, still going for it. Still trying to break, more into Astral and searching for the Library of Time. Pretty unsuccessfully here. So, we've got, as we get more Spectres, they get the Astral access, we can do more of these. It's not really working out here. But we're going to keep doubling down on it. Don't really have a ton of other uses right now, for Astral Pearls. I think, we only have Astral 1 casters, so there isn't really like a lot of big spells we can cast, with Astral Magic anyway. So, yep, still doubling down on that, getting some more Spectres, some Patrollers, still, bringing in more birds here, also for Patrollers. And then, yeah, the invasion happened. And also, I believe Merverni had actually, at least this turn, or maybe the turn prior, had let me know that he and Yomi were going to be attacking Helheim. So we caught one battle in that war. So that's kind of interesting. So yeah, let's take a look at some of this. Definitely a more eventful turn. So yeah, so those are Axe Warriors, and yeah, they're just up against like a little bit of PD. I think we know how that goes. So yeah, no problems there. Like to see that. And then yeah, we also caught a battle, an ongoing war between and Lanka, and I think this was a bigger one. Yeah, at least from side. And then yeah, I mean, Lanka's got some he's got some goats, some of these dispossessed spirits. I think Niflheim used those a little bit. They're this is not too much. So I think is gonna run this over. Yeah, wow, okay. So he's got I think that was Fog Warriors. Yep. So his whole army has Mist Form, and it's kind of cool. Like he timed it pretty well because he got out his Swarm and stuff first. So now all these bugs have Mist Form. He got out some Elementals. No, that's another bug. And there we go. That's a water elemental. So yeah, so now that water elemental also has Mist Form, so that's scary. So yeah, I mean this is looking, yeah. And then here's some Howl, like, this is overkill, but you can't really control that. This was enough to trigger gem usage. So yeah, but certainly if he had been up against a real army here, yeah, this would be hard to take down. I have a nap with definitely feeling happy about that. Seeing all this go down. So yeah, I think Lanka had lost their capital like last turn or fairly recently, and yeah, I don't really see this war turning around for them. So yeah, definitely a convincing army from And then yeah, we caught a battle between Merverni and Helheim here, so let's take a look at that. It was a little interesting because yeah, Elemental Royalty has arrived. So this is a King of Elemental Earth. Yeah, I mean, they're just really powerful Earth casters, a ton of health. Like, this guy's got a ton of protection. They definitely can make good super combatants. I think he has some built-in regeneration, just 5% normally, but it's stacking with this ring, which is, of course, a great add, because, yeah, a ton of hit points and then a lot of protection to get through, and then he's using these gate cleavers, which is kind of interesting. I actually hadn't used these too much myself, but they do a ton of damage. They also get used for sieging forts down because it gives like a huge bonus to siege strength. So I know that like sometimes people will like surprise crack forts, especially if you have like some commanders that can, teleport around. So, you get like, I don't know, 5 or 10 of those guys, and slap a bunch of gate cleavers on them, and then just drop them onto like some backline fort unexpectedly, and then like all of a sudden, because they have these gate cleavers, they can actually break through the fort walls, and take it, before you can react. Not really how he's using that here. I mean, it does a ton of damage, so that's really cool. It does reduce your attack and defense, so like it's not great in that sense. But he's got the Pearl on, so I mean, attack skill 17. I think this guy is going to be hitting with this, and like, yeah, 62 damage. So you know, because he's a, you know, elemental king of earth, so pretty high strength. So anyway, that's pretty cool. And then he's got, I think he can summon these earth gnomes, this king, or at least, yeah, the different kings summon like different summons. I forget if this guy summons these gnomes, but probably. So he's got a bunch of these earth gnomes, which, yeah, I mean, you know, they're gonna provide like some cover for him. So anyway, yeah, elemental royalty is out. That's, you know, I mean, I wasn't expecting to get a hold of that, but, you know, this just sort of confirms it's like, it's Conjuration 8, I think, and like we're working on Conjuration 7, so definitely behind in the research, you know, confirmed again. And then, yeah, he's up against one of these Sea Kings. I don't know if we've seen this particular one before, because he doesn't have one of those lifelong protections. Also, ring regeneration, you know, I mean, yeah, we've seen these guys do work before. He's also using one of these moon blades, which is pretty cool. It gets a bonus against magic beings. And I believe this guy is, yeah, a magic being. So that's definitely dangerous. I mean, both of these guys are dangerous to each other. So the PD just jumping in, cleaning out, you know, the earth gnomes. Yeah, you know, that's nice having these earth gnomes again. Like the PD is attacking them and, you know, not interrupting his super combatant's script. So, you know, the earth gnomes aren't going to do much. But okay, cool. Looks like, so he's just spamming out earth elementals. And he's using this Living Earth, which is, I think, also Conjuration 8. It's pretty high level Conjuration research. And so, yeah, instead of summoning like one elemental, you summon, I think it's another one of those ones that gets boosted, you know, if you have additional paths of magic. So I forget the exact breakpoints, but you can see, like, yeah, Earth 6 here summons quite a few Earth elementals in one cast. It's kind of interesting because these guys are like size 4, so they're not the full-size elementals, but they're also not, you know, the lesser ones, the really small ones at size 3. So yeah, I mean, you know, we've seen Earth elementals before. They're not fantastic, but, you know, if you dump out a ton of them, like especially if you're just up against province defense, you know, it's kind of a safe way for, you know, these super combatants, you know, to take provinces. And he may also go in, like he may just be using this, you know, as cover. And I think this guy is just casting like Falling Frost. Hang on, let's take a quick look. Yeah, so he buffed himself up a bit, and but then yeah, casting Slow and Falling Frost. So it actually looks like both of these guys, even though they're pretty heavily kitted, you know, are kind of both in caster mode, at least at first. You know, which is definitely good, you know, if you're up against just province defense. It's like you'd rather not risk, you know, you don't want to get like some random affliction, like just against some lucky heavy infantry that happens to get a hit. So, you know, if it's just garbage, like sure, let the earth elementals take care of it, you know, or let Falling Frost take care of it. So, you know, that makes sense. I'm assuming this guy was here. Actually, you know what, he might actually just be the province defense leader, because yeah, I think he gets these Van Herses. I was thinking maybe he was like a fluffer for this guy. But yeah, it looks like he's going in, yeah, very slowly. You know, I mean, you know, King of the Mountains, he's not exactly fast, but he will get there eventually, assuming this doesn't, I don't think these Earth Elementals are going to be able to handle this Sea King, although he is almost asleep from his casting, and like I don't think, like, you know, the Falling Frost and everything is going to be enough. Like he's going to have to kill these, you know, the old-fashioned way with the Moonblade. And he did get some freezes off there. Looks like this is a full-sized Earth Elemental, so yeah, I mean, our king might have summoned, you know, another Earth Elemental after that Living Earth. So yeah, so they're going to trample, although this guy is size 4, so, you know, these smaller Earth Elementals, you know, can't trample them, and, you know, I mean, we'll see, but the larger guy, in theory, could. But yeah, you know, province defense leader, you know, getting to cast some Shocking Grasp, that's really nice, yeah, and stun this larger one. So yeah, I don't think these, you know, they're getting a little bit of damage, but, you know, again, he's got, yeah, really good regeneration. So like I think he's gonna be fine when it comes to that. So speed this up a little bit. Some more Falling Frost. So yeah, definitely like in caster mode, which, like, yeah, it's actually kind of unfortunate, you know, because I mean he's decently kitted out. Yeah, and he picked up an affliction now. So I don't know, I would say this Sea King is kind of in trouble. Probably wasn't expecting to run into the King of Elemental Earth in this province, I'm guessing, you know, and this was probably just planned as a raid, or, you know, just possibly forgot to set him to attack after his normal script. Because, I mean, he did buff himself up, you know, this kind of looked like, oops, that's the wrong guy. you know, I mean, liquid body, quickness, like that's kind of like, you know, thug kind of stuff, good for melee, you know, not really necessary if you're just going to use him as a caster. So maybe just forgot to set him to attack. But I think, yeah, once the king gets up here, if he can, he gets pushed around by at least this guy who can still trample him. Yeah, look at that, 38 damage from that gate cleaver. You know, I mean, his regeneration is really good, but if he just keeps casting like Falling Frost, yeah, so Elemental Royalty, you know, no joke. So that was probably a pretty good start from Marverni. You know, we only caught that one battle. I don't know if any others happened. But anyway, back to our war, back to our invasion. Let's take a look. Let's see how this one went. So yeah, this is one of our Spectre Raiders. Yeah, this is kind of the weaker Raider. So let's see. So Liquid Body's buffing himself up. Yeah, he's up against like almost nothing. And I think we're just gonna Skella spam here, which should be enough to handle it. We'll see. So yeah, put out some skeletons and put ourselves to sleep, which is not great. So yeah, I was, you know, thinking that's like, okay, well, you know, no encumbrance for the undead, so don't need to worry about fatigue as much, but you do still need to worry about spellcasting fatigue, and like this is just, you know, that's kind of the reason this armor is like really, the encumbrance is really high. So I thought like, okay, putting it on undead, like that's a good idea. It's not the worst idea, but his spellcasting encumbrance is really high here. So normally he wouldn't put himself to sleep, I think, with 2 casts of that of the skeletons, but here, yeah, he's like really asleep. So not great, but it should still be enough, you know, against like this really lame level of PD. And I think, you know, eventually he might go in here. Yeah, you can see he's like still sleeping. This would be really dangerous if he was up against like anything. But, you know, it worked out here. So hopefully I alter that script a bit. But, you know, got the win, and hey, we didn't even risk the mage. So that's good mostly. But yeah, could come back to bite us definitely. Vanheim, you know, just cleaning out like some random independents with Van Jarl as they do. And then, yeah, I think this was the attack on McCone's fort with our Steel Maidens. And yeah, I think this could be all PD. I forget if this is a monkey province or not. But this is, you know, this is a decent amount of stuff. So we'll see. I mean, Steel Maidens, you know, they're really good. So, you know, we've seen them in action before. And then, you know, these Peltasts are not so great. And, yeah, they have really terrible morale. These hoplites are definitely better. You know, this really high prot is a little tougher for us to break through, but also, like, really low morale. So if we can just get a couple more kills here, then we should be able to rout. And then, of course, yeah, it does hurt that he, you know, has these archers. Because, like, yeah, you know, well... We know from our own archers how Steel Maidens feel about archers, so yeah, but it looks like, yeah, we've routed the front line here, so as long as some of these maidens, come on, maidens, archers, please. They really want to, you know, make sure no Peltasts survive, but yeah, it looks like a couple of them are hopefully, yeah, they're coming back, so not perfect, but it did work out, you know, Steel Maidens are good. So let's take a look. Yeah, so, you know, 43 kills. Looks like, yeah, so he was patrolling, like, with a little bit. It wasn't, you know, monkey PD, which actually, yeah, makes sense because it's a fort, so it's going to have national PD. But anyway, definitely a reason that, like, you know, raiding with these Steel Maidens is nice because I'm not so sure the Axe Warriors would have been able to handle this. So sometimes, like, stronger, you know, raiding groups on provinces you expect to be a little tougher. Not the worst idea. But yeah, now this fort is locked down, so that's really good news. And then it looks like Lanka was attacking McCone, and then, yeah, I think this was really small. And yeah, just sort of a failed raid. So don't really need to look at that. And then let's see, I think another one of our raids here. Yeah, and our other Steel Maiden raiding group. And yeah, this is definitely more than just province defense. In fact, we've seen, like, yeah, some of these casters from previous battles, so it looks like he did at least, I'm not sure if this is that same force we saw moving to the north, and then it just doubled back, or maybe it's a split, but yeah, so this is kind of the downside of raiding with a stronger raiding force. And again, this was like the province, the more dangerous province that I was a little worried about, that ideally would have sent something a little cheaper into. because it's not too surprising that he chose to come out with something. So yeah, I think these Steel Maidens are screwed. Yeah, that's Curse of Stones coming down. We've seen that. I think that caster, that's the one that has like the penetration gear and everything. And yeah, you can see like they're, you know, some of them. No, they have normal combat speed here. Not sure why they got spread out there. But yeah, this is definitely way too many Gigantes, especially, you know, with some caster support here. So yeah, this does not go well. So yeah, we lost that raiding group, you know, for no cost to Macone. So that hurts. But, you know, I mean, that's going to happen, you know, with your raids. So, and yeah, let's take a look at this next one here. So far, mostly successful. Yeah, so this is our better Spectre here, who's maybe a little overgeared and doubling up on his quickness. So, you know, let's see. And he's just throwing out, what, one skeleton? So, you know, I don't know. That's not really a whole lot of cover. Barbarians are a little scary as province defense, but, you know, he's ethereal, so... And yeah, you know, so he's draining some life and fatigue, and he did not put himself to sleep. This much fatigue is maybe a little high, because I think it starts to affect, you know, his at least his defense, and I think his attack as well. But yeah, you can see he took some hits here, or that might have been on the skeleton. But yeah, you know, he's able to drain his life back up. I mean, you know, with the life drain, the chip damage, you know, is not nearly as bad, you know, especially because he's ethereal, so like he's not going to be taking as much chip damage. So I think he's going to be able to get through these barbarians without too much trouble here. So yeah, he got the route, and he's definitely going to be able to handle that commander. So yeah, that went pretty well. I think that was maybe a better example of, you know, how you can use Spectres to raid. This was pretty light PD, although, you know, Barbarians can definitely be scary for some raiders. And then, yeah, let's take a look at our final raid here. Oh yeah, and this was the god with the terracotta warriors. So, you know, we're gonna get weapons of sharpness on them, which, you know, is definitely gonna help quite a bit. So these guys are a little more scary. Not that it really matters. You know, this is just minimal PD. He didn't move anything out. So yeah, which is good. You know, definitely don't want to lose the god again. So they're gonna have no problem cutting down that minimal PD there. So yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, overall, like, a pretty good start to certainly a much better start, you know, than, you know, just a bunch of Jarls taking over all your territory. So yeah, definitely that's a look at what a successful war, or hopefully a successful war, is going to look like. Certainly a successful start. And then yeah, speaking of Niflheim, still, you know, getting munched on by Helheim. Let's take a look at some of these. I think this is the fort that we saw. Yeah. And yeah, you know, not a whole lot in here. Still these two casters. You know, you can see like still not much more investment here from Helheim. I think there's a couple more raiders this time with slightly different gearing. Some of these guys are ungeared, so I wonder if he might use them as casters, because I think last time the big issue is, you know, no magic weapons against body ethereal. You can see another gate cleaver here. So again, I mean, and these elves are like skilled enough that's like a little bit of loss on the skills, like no problem, but like now 44 magic damage. I think this guy is going to do just fine against those casters. And then this guy has a spirit helm. I think we've seen that before. Yeah, it's, you know, casting lightning bolt, so a little more you know, magic damage. And then I think these, yeah, are susceptible to shock, because that's just, you know, one of the things from Niflheim. So, you know, blessing up, I think these guys are going to do just fine. So again, you know, kind of, you can fly, of course. So, like, you know, fairly low commitment from Helheim, but, you know, definitely taking, like, lessons learned from the last assault and, like, adjusting, and then, like, yeah, like, no problem. He does get cursed, because, yeah, that's just a feature of these casters. They have this death curse, so anybody that kills them, they're cursed, you know, just period. Like, there's no way to avoid that, so, you know, it's just something you have to accept. But, yeah, that gate cleaver, like, no problem at all. And like, yeah, air shield actually not a bad idea either, because, you know, these boulders can definitely hurt, but, you know, with air shield, like, he doesn't have to worry too much. I mean, he just flew to the back anyway, but you know, you never know. You don't want some stray boulder to, I don't think these are cheap. Yeah, 15 gems for these, so, you know, this is definitely some investment. But anyway, yeah, worked out. You know, Helheim like continuing to look scary, and then there was a battle in Arcocephali, probably also an assault. Yeah, and this is definitely higher commitment. You know, still like not really an army per se. Probably some gate cleavers mixed in here, although maybe he broke it with some other forces, because like there's not a ton of siege strength here, although yeah, you know, Niflheim, I mean, okay, yeah, this isn't really like a ton of siege defense either. So he's got a couple, I don't think we've seen these before, these frost fiends. They're kind of like the lightning throwing demons. But, you know, these guys, you know, shoot, you know, frost bolts, basically. And then, you know, the normal kind of like they have, you know, chill aura and like cold power and like all the kind of stuff that we've seen from Niflheim before. So definitely makes sense to grab these for Niflheim, you know, since he's already like, you know, his Dominion is going to be really cold. So, you know, these guys are going to get all the benefits of that. Looks like he's just inherently susceptible to fire. So that makes sense since he's a frost fiend. And then, yeah, he's got some blood slaves here, you know, for these casters. So yeah, I mean, this is not nothing here. You know, a couple of these Scrotty, and then yeah, just a few spirits probably just, you know, as chaff to slow things down. But yeah, I mean, this is a lot of casters here from Helheim, including one of these golems, which we've seen before. Yeah, it's like fairly heavily kitted. You know, this is some good gear. Like, there's a lot of gem investment here. You know, that's 15. I think this is 10. Yeah, this is 10. So, and, you know, that's just on the golem. You know, well, this guy, oh, he's got some death gems, so that's interesting. So anyway, yeah, we'll see how this goes. I think Niflheim is probably screwed here. Okay, yeah, I think probably this guy here is preparing to cast Wailing Winds. Yeah, so we'll talk about, looks like these guys jumped in, which is a little scary. I mean, they're pretty good, but like kind of low protection. Like, their skills are good, but like just the two of them, I don't know. Maybe would have preferred to have them as like bodyguards or set to fire. I think, you know, by themselves here, they're just gonna get cut down. But yeah, I don't think we've seen Wailing Winds before. He's coming from this guy. You need like air death cross path, so it's a little tough to get a hold of sometimes. Although, you know, Helheim just has this naturally. There's, yeah, really strong nation, Helheim. But yeah, let's see, what does the description say? So yeah, let's see here. So yeah, it reduces morale of the entire enemy army, and like, yeah, just greatly increases the chances that there's going to be a rout. And unlike a lot of like battlefield-wide spells, it actually doesn't affect friendly units, you know, which is really nice. So this is a very powerful spell. People definitely complain about this one a little bit. You know, some people feel it's a little unbalanced. You know, it's just, yeah, something you have to play around. And, you know, if you can get a hold of it, definitely really nice. So that could be a problem. Now, I mean, some of Niflheim's stuff, like the spirits, like they probably won't care. But, you know, his caster, like morale 14, I don't know if, is that being reduced? Yeah, it doesn't really say. I'm not sure if the Wailing Winds like actually like reduces morale or just increases the number of morale checks you have to take. But yeah, we'll see if we get a route here. And then yeah, not sure what we're doing over here. Looks like just sort of buffs, like, yeah, body ethereal, a little bit of like, you know, sort of skele spam. So, you know, these casters are just gonna, you know, enlarge, gonna be tougher to kill. I don't know though. Wooden warriors, yeah, you know, protection buff. Not sure if there's gonna be anything to like, you know, kill these guys, and I'm not sure, like, there's not a ton of magic weapons out here, I guess. So yeah, maybe the body ethereal will matter. We'll see. Like, I mean, definitely this golem, like, once he goes in, he is not going to care too much about body ethereal. And like, yeah, some lightning. You can see like those, you know, frost demons, you know, with just two of them out there by themselves. That's kind of rough. I think these are, yeah, undisciplined. So, you know, unfortunately, this is really hard to position, and you know, this is definitely kind of slick from Helheim to like not immediately go in, because like now like the garbage has actually gotten out of the fort, which is not a good situation, you know, because you want them like blocking this gap, and like now like they can just be, you know, surrounded and run down. So you know, definitely positioning units, like it's always a balance, because like you put them too far back, and then you know, if they rush the gap, which Helheim has definitely done in the past with his really fast sacreds, so it's like, you know, you put them too far in the back and then they get through, but then you put them too far forward and then they can, you know, get out. So yeah, it's just tough. So it looks like there was some imp summoning from Niflheim, so that's probably where a lot of these blood slaves are going. And yeah, I mean, you know, that's not like a terrible idea, although I mean, you know, yeah, I don't think these imps, like, they're just not going to be able to handle these elves. Like, yeah, you know, they're just getting shocked, and there's a vine shield at play here. Looks like an air elemental coming out. I'm not sure whose that is. Yeah, that's actually, you know, from Helheim. And then, like, yeah, a little bit of Skella spam from Helheim as well. And you can see, like, those imps, like, they just, yeah, not enough, really. So, I mean, not the worst play, but, you know, not enough, like, against, like, these more elite troops. Valkyries went in. Looks like they got hit. Oh, this is just the swiftness from the bless. So yeah, they just got the bless. But they're just pretty good. And you can see, yeah. So here's a morale failure. That's probably like Wailing Winds. And then yeah, this guy went in the back, and he's got magic damage. You know, and this is like just really light gearing, but you know, it's really gonna help, right? Like you fixed basically like the one problem. I mean, I would say, like with his bless. I mean, he's already got, like, this is a good bless, I feel like. You're never going to be able to cover everything in the bless. So, I mean, you know, and he can cover the magic weapons bit, you know, just by, you know, very light gearing from his thugs, or for his thugs. So, yeah. And then, but then he got hit with some drain life, and looks like that was actually successful. But didn't stun him. But yeah, that definitely hurts. So yeah, I mean, these casters are still dangerous, and he's, you know, not by himself, like he's got these Valkyries for cover, but yeah, he just went down. So, you know, I mean, a cluster of casters like this definitely is scary. And you know, these guys are still kind of working their way through the undead, although it looks like they've more or less cleared it out now. Yeah, I'm not sure how this wall guy got down here. You know, he might have gotten pushed by the air elemental. That's interesting. You don't see that too often. Yeah, you know, the golem taking his sweet time moving up. They're not very fast, so even with, wow, he's got, oh, okay, he's got a limp. Because I was going to say, like, the boots of quickness here that he's got, you know, should be speeding him up. Yeah, plus 100%, but, you know, with that limp. Anyway, yeah, golem's not too fast. But yeah, you know, now some of these other, like, kind of, well, this guy, interesting. He was probably the Wailing Winds caster, but you know, he's going in, so that's a little scary. If he takes a boulder, you know, if the caster of the global goes down or dies, then the global goes down. So yeah, you don't always necessarily see them, you know, kind of getting into like melee range. So that's kind of interesting. A little risky, but you know, I mean, he's got a bunch of other stuff. Like, yeah, okay, so like, yeah, here's a really geared Van Jarl, and he's got, yeah, so we've seen this, you know, chest wound, just sort of like anti-super combatant. You know, he's got misform on himself, and he's berserking, I guess. Okay, yeah, and this gives him the possibility of going berserk, so he's gone berserk. So yeah, like this guy's gonna be really scary. Like this guy's pretty good, not as heavily geared. You know, he doesn't have a magic weapon, but he does get a gore from this helmet, and that's magic. So you know, he does have a magic attack. So you know, he can break through that body ethereal as well. One of these Scrotty has gone into his werewolf form, but yeah, morale has failed. I think, yeah, morale has failed just in general. Yeah, mostly routed for Niflheim, so I think all of his, you know, regular units are running. So yeah, I mean, this looked pretty good from Helheim, you know, continuing to look really scary. Not without cost, though. You know, these guys are kind of expensive, but I don't think he had, like, super high gearing. And then, you know, yeah, lost one Van Jarl and a couple Valkyries, but like, you know, for what he was up against, like, you know, this could be scary for sure. Like, this could have caused a lot more damage, but you know, clearly well thought out, and like, yeah, another really successful battle for him. And then yeah, we had some events, you know, some misfortune. Hey, I got some gold. That's cool. And then, we bought some gems on the super cheap. There are some advantages to being a pretender god. And then, yeah, Vanheim got attacked by barbarians. Always warms my heart to see someone else getting attacked by barbarians and not me. And then, yeah, our patrollers caught a bunch of stuff, so you can see all the events that I have not been taking care of. So we found a false prophet, and this is kind of unfortunate because you can see like these hawks are not great. Because I mean these heretics, like they are like basically dudes in robes with a dagger. But these are just birds, so we lost a lot of them, and then they actually retreated. So now we have a bunch of birds like scattered around in surrounding provinces. So yeah, bye that patrol group. We'll have to collect some of those and probably like recast to get some more patrollers. But getting rid of these false prophets is really nice. And then yeah, we actually eliminated a dryad, which is kind of unfortunate because I don't know, I'm not 100% sure that this is like those dryad events that we've been seeing. But this is maybe like a dryad we could have found with our nature mages and gotten our nature magic boosted, and instead we killed it with birds. So that's not ideal if that's the case. I'm not sure why we didn't find this one, because if we go, let's see, where was this? Yeah, this is in the other capital that we have. We do have some nature mages here, so I'm not sure why these guys didn't trigger the event. Maybe like they're just too lame, because they're only nature 1, and our other guys that have been triggering the event are usually like nature 2. So there might just be like a minimum threshold. Maybe the dryad is like, man, these guys are like too lame. I'm not gonna teach them my secrets. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but hey, at least our patrollers are doing stuff. And then we found another false prophet, so that's good. And you can see like the militia's actually better than the birds. They didn't really have any trouble, although it looks like our province defense helped out quite a bit here. Another problem with those birds, they're undisciplined and they're flyers, so they just go in right away unsupported like every time. So yeah, kind of unfortunate, but they're decent patrollers. And then yeah, so we started. You can see like this is a message you don't want to see when you're sieging, but it's fine because this was just our raiding group, so they're not really intended to siege this down yet. We just want to lock this down, so we actually have an army preparing to actually break into that. And then yeah, we got rid of some troublemakers and such, and then yeah, just still some of our guys dying, probably from getting hit with bird in a time. But yeah, overall, like a pretty successful start to this war. You can see like, yeah, so we, picked up like 5 provinces basically. I mean, we don't control this yet, but, locked it down successfully. And then, yeah, so we lost this one here. So that hurts a little bit, but that's okay. Cause like now, we got to see this army in action. Like we know what's here. We know exactly what's here. And yeah, so here's our main army, and they're moving in, the gods moving in to support. Like these steel maidens will stay here, and join this force. And it looks like, yeah, we're moving some axe warriors up as well. So like, yeah, we have a pretty big army here. And I think there's a decent chance, because he's got some forces here in this fort as well, because we have a scout on here now, some elder cyclopses and stuff. Don't know what he has in this fort. It looks like there's actually a citadel of lore masters here. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the province that I gave up. So that, yeah, it just really hurts. But we're gonna get it back here. It took us a long time. So anyway, I think there's a pretty good chance that he collapses all these forces onto this fort. I don't really see why he wouldn't. There probably isn't too much reason for him to wait. So yeah, there's a good chance that we're gonna have a big battle here. But we're bringing everything, so we're ready for it. So yeah, gonna continue to do a little raiding here, just with our axe warriors, being a little cautious here with this guy. He's just sneaking into this province. Shouldn't really need him for any raiding. He might raid into this province next. Also just sneaking into here. It is possible that instead of, collapsing everything here, like he starts to like counter raid, or maybe like, moves these guys out, to try to block raiding here. So don't really want to risk this guy like immediately. Kind of, just want to sneak him in, see, what's going on. The axe warrior's a little less worried about losing, so, just sending them in right away. And then this is pretty unlikely. you know, I don't know how it would reinforce, maybe magically, but, you know, probably not. I don't think Cone has a ton of magic phase options. I think he has a few guys that can cloud trapeze. So yeah, anyway, good start to the war. You know, continuing to bring up some reinforcements. And then, yeah, these are just, I think, some site searchers moving around. Yeah, got him on retreat. That's good. You know, we've seen how that can go badly. You know, using some earth boots here to boost him up to earth 3. And yeah, we haven't fully searched. You know, I mean, he's only going to search at you know, air 1, but you know, he's going to close out, you know, the possibility of any earth sites that we missed in some of these places and get a little bit of air searching. Would be better probably to search with our air 2 guys wherever they are, but they are busy bringing more birds in, because yeah, you need air 2 to cast that Call of the Winds. So yeah, and then, you know, yeah, Niflheim is pretty much gone here. I think, yeah, so he still has this throne, but it's cracked, and we can see a Queen of Thunder. So speaking of elemental royalty, this is one of the air elemental royalty summons. So yeah, you know, Helheim got that. So again, you know, our research not doing great. And then he also has a Chimera. I don't even know. I'm not sure how you get a hold of those. But anyway, he's got one. That's probably bad. Yeah, this is looking pretty scary. So we'll probably see an assault here next turn. And then, yeah. Niflheim's capital hasn't been locked down yet, so it's possible that he, you know, moves this out. There's a lot of stuff. It seems like mostly, yeah, just these Rimveti, who haven't really been too convincing so far. So yeah, we'll see. But he might move out, you know, to try to relieve this siege. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Either way, like, I just don't. I think he's done. But yeah, it looks like Marverni here, you know, moving some armies up onto the borders. It'll definitely be interesting to see Marverni clash, you know, with Helheim. You know, Niflheim wasn't really able to resist effectively. Marverni is definitely like bigger, and I don't think they're involved in any other wars, unlike Niflheim. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can like slow down this Helheim juggernaut. And then, yeah, like I said, I've been told that Yomi is also involved in the war, but yeah, don't really have too many scouts. You know, trying to figure out, like, you know, maybe I know that, you know, Yomi's here, and I think they extend back this way. I don't know how far north they extend, but yeah, trying to use this scout to like see. You know, we might see Satis start to raid out, but obviously they're not going to be able to do too much. So yeah, hoping to catch some action over here, you know, maybe see, like, you know, what Yomi is up to in terms of this war. And then I think that more or less covers it. So yeah, just looking to potentially have a large battle here, you know, continue our attack against Macone, and, you know, hopefully close that out, you know, while Helheim is like still busy. And then depending on how this goes, you know, I mean, Helheim definitely needs to be stopped, and, you know, we could potentially pick up Niflheim's capital. I mean, he still has this force here, and, you know, we still have a nap with Niflheim, but, you know, as Helheim will probably clean this out, I would say. And then there's, you know, there's a throne right here too, so it wouldn't be the worst. You know, we don't have to commit super heavily. So, you know, if this starts to go against Helheim, you know, definitely jumping in and picking up some of this Niflheim land that, you know, we didn't get in the initial war would be really nice. So yeah, we'll see. That was turn 64.